Diana Montfort Show. My guest is someone so very special. I'm so proud and thrilled to have her on my show. I had to lean over because Kate kindly pressed the button. My guest is the one, the only, the amazing transgender theorist, woman of transgender experience, actress, writer, amazing human being, Ms. Kate Bornstein, who is here, and she's going to tell us all about, well, A, being Kate Bornstein, and some of her theories on gender and why she feels that the world is ready for a change. And here comes the change. Hello. How are you? It's wonderful to see you.
It's good to finally be on your show.
Well, yes, it did take us a while, didn't it? Just
did.
today it took us a while, yes, to get the
Years.
Yes. Now, what exactly, how did you go from being boy to girl?
Boy to girl, that's easy. Snip, snip. No, it took a long time for me. I'm 62 years old. So
Ooh, you look fantastic. You
bless
really
your
do.
heart.
No, you really do.
But you know, the transsexuality was not talked about in the 50s until, I mean, all we had was Christine Jorgensen.
Yes.
And that was all over the National Enquirer. She was a he, and I thought she was so
XGI
beautiful.
becomes blonde beauty. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought she was so beautiful, and that's all
So
I
did
ever
she.
wanted to be. Yes, she did. She did think she was beautiful.
And she was quite lovely, and that inspired you to, many years later, become Kate, as opposed to, is your boy named Arnold?
Arnold? No, it was Albert.
Albert, yes. I
Albert.
knew it was something with an
Which
A.
sounds much better in German, like Albert, or Albert.
I guess.
Albert,
Oh, I can
Albert,
top that. You know what my
Albert.
boy name was?
What?
Vernon.
Okay, you did.
Yeah, I topped it,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
My daddy was from the South, y'all.
Vernon.
Vernon Campbell, yes. Anyway.
Albert Herman Bornstein.
Oh, Vernon James Campbell Jr. Yeah,
Oh,
yeehaw.
no. That's got some class to it.
Good, because my father didn't. Anyway, actually, he was a very nice man. Anyway, now let's talk about you. Okay, now you were born in New Jersey.
Asbury Park, New Jersey. And I went through my gender change when it was like 1985-ish. So that would have put me, what? I don't know, 27 years old to, no, more.
37.
37, yeah, 37, 40 years old when I went through with that thing. And what stopped me for the longest time was that I was madly in love with women, always have been. Haven't been sexually, yeah, but not romantically attracted to men. And that was the last thing to go, was realizing that who I was sexually attracted to had nothing to do with my gender.
And that is a great segue into your theories of gender and how it is very much a social construct and not really innate in the human animal, but some creation of a basically patriarchal system.
There is some reality in a bipolar gender system. I mean, the further away you get from something, the bigger the clues are you have to look. And before there were microscopes, before there was any kind of electron microscopes, you looked and the person either had an outie or an innie. And that meant...
Do you mean a navel?
No. And that meant that they were a man or a woman. And now the closer that we look, we find out, well, golly, there's a lot more genders, even biologically. And who says biology is destiny anyway? That's
Well, Freud, for one. But
sorry.
what?
No.
Well, but
Tell me how Freud says that. I didn't know that.
I think he was one of the people who said it, wasn't he?
I didn't know that. I thought that was an early feminist cry.
No, I think they were refuting the fact that, excuse me, biology was destiny.
Oh, he said biology is destiny.
Yes, and
he
they
did.
said like
no,
hell.
It isn't. Like hell. And that being the case, I realized, well, all right, well, then my biology isn't my destiny either. And if, in fact, we're more than just, sacks of meat and blood
Uh-huh.
walking around on the planet. And
Yes.
if there's something spiritual to us, that something spiritual does not have a gender.
I agree. And you are very much into metaphysics, I believe.
I'm into all kinds of weird shit, yeah.
Well, why is it weird?
What is metaphysics, though? How do you define that?
What used to be called the occult, or
Golly.
New Age religion. Let's put it that way.
My girlfriend is more into that than I am. I'm into tarot cards. That's my spiritual touchstone. And I believe in angels and demons.
Often just in the studio, we've seen it. But yes.
But I don't see how we just stop. I don't see how we die and that's
Well,
it.
energy doesn't end. It's a continuum, so yeah.
Yeah. So that pulls it back out of the realm of either man or woman. You know, that's all I'm getting at.
When you transitioned, did you have to give up? Now, you were always an unusual man because you were a drama major at Brown. You were not, Mr. by-the-book corporate kind of guy. I mean, you were later, but when you worked for IBM, I believe, right? But you were not, at the beginning, you followed your muse and became an actor.
I did, and I was a hippie boy. I believed in all of this love stuff. I thought it would change the world.
I did
thought
too.
We could. Yeah.
I do. I think many of our generation did. You know.
And
I'm 53, so yeah. I think we all thought.
sweet young thing.
Yes, that's me. 53 and never been kissed. Right here. Everywhere else I've been licked, but never kissed right here. No.
We'll handle that after.
Oh, my goodness. So now tell me, you decided to transition. Was it a difficult decision for you?
Yeah. I was married. I was on my third marriage
To a woman.
To a woman. And I was in my first year of sobriety.
Oh, you drank.
Oh, I drink. I was a big drinker. I used to drown all my stuff in drink. And I still haven't had a drink for well over 25 years now.
God bless.
Thank you. I'm sober, but I'm not always clean.
What does that mean?
That means there are other things besides alcohol.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Anyway, so I made that decision with this program of rigorous honesty, and I finally had to come up with be rigorously honest with the notion that I never felt like a guy. I always was trying to act like one. I would look and say, "Oh, how does that guy do that?" And then I would try. And like you said, I was an actor, so I don't know which came first, my trying to act like a guy and in some kind of innate acting skill.
but don't most men have to work at being men, at learning how to be men?
I don't know. I really don't know. I never, I had an older brother. He seemed to get it right effortlessly.
Excuse me, my throat. Keep talking.
That's all right. I hope you're all right.
I am. I'm just reaching for a little mint here so I don't choke myself to death.
And okay.
Sure.
Would you like some?
This is like our living room.
Yes.
Welcome to our living room.
Yes.
It's very casual here. But
See, they are just breath mints.
yeah, that's what she says. There's no.
Want some?
Oh, yeah, sure. Will they ruin my sobriety, though?
Given the fact that they are, well, we can't say the brand name, but they're just plain old breath mints.
All right. No, my father was a macho man, and a great part of the reason I think I went through with my gender changes, I never wanted to grow up and be a man like him. He was...
Was he abusive in some way?
Verbally. He hit me only once, but he always knew how to scare the hell out of me.
He would threaten to hit you.
Oh, yeah. Lots. But that...
Did he ever hit your mother or your sister?
I never had a sister.
Oh.
My brother, I don't know if he hit my brother. I think my brother would have hit him back.
How about your mother?
I doubt it. No, he adored her.
Did he feel that you and your brother were somehow interlopers into his marriage, as some fathers do?
I don't think so. No, he was more of the notion that, oh, good, I have sons who will carry out my family tradition. He was a doctor, and neither my brother nor I became medical doctors, and so we failed him that way. And then I failed because I was never really into sports. I was the little fat uncoordinated
Al,
kid.
will you get a real job, for Christ's sake? You're going to starve in the street. I'm tired of supporting you, that kind of thing.
Yep. And it wasn't until after he died that I felt, hey, I can go through with this now. It was a big...
So in other words, you were waiting for him, consciously or unconsciously, you were waiting for him to die.
Yeah. Yeah. A year after he died, I went through this whole gender change.
What did your mother make of this?
At first, she was furious. She was also of a generation where, God, you have beautiful eyes.
Thank you.
Doesn't she have beautiful eyes?
Thank you, thank you. How kind.
My mother was of the generation where your value as a woman depended in great part on how connected you were to men.
Mm-hmm.
You married a doctor, you had 2 sons.
Yeah.
That was a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So one of her, her husband dies, and one of her 2 sons tells her he's going to become a dyke. It didn't work so well. She preferred the word lesbian.
Women who love women or something, yes.
So she was hurt at first, and for about 6 months she wouldn't. She shut the door a lot, and about 6 months later, I called her. She lived on the shore, and it was a hurricane, and I called to see if she was all right.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking. We were stiff. We were polite. Finally, she said, "How you doing, Albert?" She wouldn't call me Kate. And I started crying. I said, "I can't talk anymore," and I hung up the phone.
Why did you start crying?
Because I wasn't doing well. I was getting a lot of crap at work.
For a
going through-
transition?
Yeah. And I didn't. She wasn't someone I could talk with about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I hung up the phone, and 20 minutes later, it rang. Ian, and picked it up, and I say, "Hello." She says, "Kate."
Oh.
Yeah, moms, So
Mm-hmm.
we had 7 very good years of mother-daughter,
Mm-hmm.
adult mother-daughter, without the young
Yeah.
mother-daughter baggage that comes with
Right.
that. So with my mom, with the exception of about 6 months, we had the great mother-son relationship, and then
Mhm.
the great adult mother-daughter relationship.
And how about your
treasure
brother?
that. I treasure that.
Your brother?
He's gone. He just passed a year ago.
Was he comfortable with your transition?
Not at all. He said, "You're murdering my brother." And he wouldn't speak with me for 5 years.
Which might have been a blessing if he felt that way, you know?
Yeah. The weird thing is he was a psychologist at the time, and he was treating 2 transsexual people. And I thought, oh my God.
God
I
help
wish
those
I could warn
trannies.
them.
Yeah, really. But anyway, yes, those women who later became lumberjacks or something. Yeah. No, but now you have built quite a successful career and a unique career on being transgendered and on explaining your theories of gender and why perhaps gender is not not something that suits the world as it is today and will be in the future. How do you, can you give us a 1-sentence capsule definition of gender and maybe another sentence as to why it's no longer working?
Gender is simply a way to classify people. It's a
Uh-huh.
classification system. Why it doesn't work is because it claims that there are 2 and 2 only genders, called a binary system, only 2 components in it, and nothing in nature is 2 and 2 only and exact opposites of that. Nothing. And yet we never question why gender might be. We look at race, and race for the longest time was a binary. You
Yeah.
were white or you
Or you
were
were
a person
black.
of color. And that was it.
Excuse me.
Class.
Or worse by the standards of another time, you were neither because you were both. And that placed you in a very strange position because then you were no longer, you didn't belong anywhere. Not unlike in some people's minds being a woman of transgender experience.
Well, I didn't know that at that time. I just thought, well, if I'm not a man, I must be a woman. And
Would you transition today?
I'm sorry?
Would you transition today?
I don't
Completely.
know. I don't know. I don't know. I really, I went through with bottom surgery feeling I didn't have much of a choice in the matter.
In other words, you had your penis removed and had a vagina constructed.
No, it's not removed. They
It's
just
turned,
turned it
it's
inside
inverted.
out,
I know.
So I
I know.
have an innie.
And I know from your book that you had to have the surgery. Your doctor said, have it now because if you don't, you'll have to have a graft from your thigh or your arm to give you a long vagina, a long vaginal canal or something.
Yeah, well,
Isn't the vaginal canal in Venice or something?
I think so.
Yeah.
But why gender doesn't work today is the same reason why a binary reading of race doesn't work. You cannot examine race and say there are only white people and people of color.
Mm-hmm.
To examine race completely, you need to say, whoa, no. There's African Americans.
But
there's
perhaps there is no
Africans.
race. Maybe race is an invention.
No, let's not get off on that because I'm just trying to make the point that there can't be an analysis of race as a binary in the same way there can't be an analysis of gender as a binary, or class, rich or poor, as a binary, or age, old or young, as a binary. Or sexuality, homosexual or heterosexual. It's
Frigid
not-
or nymphomaniac.
or Madonna, yes. So anytime you come up with an either or is what I found. It's wise to question it and not too wise to jump in and answer one or the other, unless it's something simple like, do you want pepperoni on your pizza or not? But questions of either or are used to bully people. Are you a man or are you a woman?
Yes.
I mean, holy shit! What do you say to that?
I sometimes try to take the high road and say, well, actually, I'm a transsexual. You have to say sexual because they don't know from transgender. Okay. When you really feel like saying, you impolite son of a bitch, go jump in the river.
I can't imagine anyone suspect. It was like I've known you met you 3 different occasions before.
With
I
3
knew there was
different
a
haircuts,
tranny.
yes.
Well, it's true.
Yes. Well, no, but I find that women, oddly enough, straight women, certainly young, pretty ones, can be quite bitchy and nasty to transgendered women, whereas men are quite intrigued, heterosexual men. So maybe that's why the young, pretty heterosexual women are so bitchy, because the young, handsome heterosexual men are intrigued.
That sounds like an analysis, yes.
Sort of like a urine analysis.
So, finally, to wrap up, why gender doesn't work is because it's a system that doesn't allow questions.
It also doesn't allow freedom.
Freedom because it doesn't allow questions. Freedom starts with questioning. Well, all right, man and woman. What's a man? What's a woman?
And it's in flux. What constituted a woman who was a healthy, well-adjusted woman circa 1950 would today be a very infantile, frightened woman and would be considered quite neurotic.
Exactly. And as someone in, let's say, in the late 19th century, what constituted woman in America
She would be a frigid mess in an insane asylum.
She'd be white, any other race, and she's not a real woman. So
Well,
race
exactly,
came into play with gender. And yes, as you're saying, it's in constant
But
flux.
what's white? You're Jewish, I'm Castilian. for a long time, we were not considered white, even though if you analyze our blood, we are of the Caucasian race. Yet somehow we're not quite as white as people from England or Sweden or something.
Yeah. I have all the white privilege in the world until I say Bornstein, and they go, "Oh, you're a Jew."
I have all the white privilege in the world until I say, bueno, hablo español. Then, blah.
Exactly.
We thought you were human. You're
Yes,
Spanish.
yes,
You know,
yes.
I mean, come on.
And that knocks you down. That knocks you down a notch, and that's how gender is used. Oh, you're not a real man. You're not a real woman. And a lot of people get told that. Not just transsexual people, but a woman in a wheelchair isn't a real woman. You know, a man who has testicular cancer, well, he's not a real man anymore, and that sucks. That
Even
just
Marilyn
sucks.
Monroe used to say, I won't be a real woman until I have a baby. Now, Marilyn Monroe is saying this,
Oh
so,
my God!
yeah.
I never knew that.
yeah. So, now, to people out there who are questioning their gender, and we are sort of getting short on time. Hi, people out there questioning your gender.
Brave you.
Yes, brave you. What would you say to those people of all genders who wish to perhaps transition to a different gender?
I would say there's some questions you might want to start asking yourself. And just 3 questions to ask yourself maybe once or twice a day for a week and see what you come up with. What is a man? What is a woman? And why do you have to be one or the other? And if you really do some soul searching around those questions and, you know, get over the laugh parts of it, I think you might come up with an interesting journey.
Are you recommending a full transition for people?
Anybody who wants one, sure. Absolutely. Some people, now when you're saying full, you're talking
Genitals,
hormonal, and
hormonal,
surgical?
genital surgery,
No,
what you've done.
There's lots of options. There's lots
Oh, I
of
totally agree. I
options.
think being non-op is certainly an option, and I think it's ridiculous to think that we cannot let the straight world tell us what constitutes man or woman or gender change. You know, I mean,
Bingo.
yeah.
Bingo. And somehow, even within the transgender world, there's a hierarchy, and different folks in the transgender world feel that they're on top.
Oh, of
and
course.
And, like it's post-operative,
Yes.
transsexual. Well, that's good. And then the non-operative transsexual, and then the
Yes.
drag queens, and the cross-dressers, and that's just another form of classism.
Yes, it is.
As applied to gender.
And what's ironic is that to the straight world, perhaps a married man in a dress would be more quote unquote normal than a man who was homosexual and had his penis removed or made into a
You keep saying
vagina.
removed.
Excuse
It's
me.
never
Yes.
really removed.
Well-
unless you're using a really barbaric method, but
Well, yeah. I mean,
which actually the Hydra in India do.
yes. Well, they don't have much out choice since they can't. We might well be watched in India by these lovely people, and I know getting hormones and getting other things are not simple in these places where very authoritarian regimes exist.
My friend Lakshmi, actually, you know what? They just legalized and
I know.
a
Yeah.
third gender in
Exactly.
both India and Pakistan.
Well, excuse me, in the 2010 census, I wrote, where it said man or woman, I wrote male to female transgender. So,
See, you're
because,
changing the world.
well, aren't we all?
One census taker at a time.
Yes, really, although I mailed it in, and
Oh.
there was no census taker. Now, could you, to people out there who are afraid, who are wondering what they're going to do, who might want to change their gender and who look to you as a beacon in the night, hyperbolic though that may sound, what would you say to these people? How can they find what they're looking for?
All right. Here, because I'm old, I get to say things like I'm about to say. Please do anything that makes your life more worth living. Anything at all. Anything at all. Illegal, immoral, unethical.
Short
doesn't
of
matter.
murder or hurting anyone, do not
Please
hurt
let me
anyone.
finish. Please. The only rule you have to follow is don't be mean. Exactly what Diana was saying. Don't be mean. Short of that, You can do anything you want. And if that leads you onto a road of switching your gender or switching it back or floating around between them or negating them completely or embracing one or the other completely, that's fine. But if you find yourself so impacted by gender that life isn't worth living, do something about it. It's okay. Much better than making your life worse for yourself.
Or than killing yourself.
Thank you.
Do not kill yourself. There are ways out of anything and everything.
Yes.
So anyway.
This one.
Smart, listen to this one. And listen to yourself, because you know best for you. Okay, now you can be seen around the country. We are not advertising, but you are a highly successful actress and performance artist. You have made several films, many television appearances, and God knows how many theater pieces.
A whole bunch of them, and I'm working on my 5th book now. Or is it 6? 6.
And what is that book about, quickly? Then?
Working on a memoir of my entire life. It's called Kate Bornstein is a Queer and Pleasant Danger.
Anyway, well, my guest has been, and I'm sorry we're out of time because I could talk to you for 17 hours and still feel that there was more to learn. I love Kate Bornstein, and this is who it's been. It's been the fabulous and unique and beautiful Kate Bornstein, and brilliant. And she is truly a beacon in the night, and she helps a lot of people just by existing and making her thoughts known. I'm Diana Montfort. This has been the Diana Montfort Show. You know how much I love you. You know how much I want you to be happy and to take good care of yourself. I love you a lot, and I will see you next time. And my guest has been, can you give your website?
Website's hard to give on, but you can get me on Twitter. www.twitter.com/Kate Bornstein, KateBornstein, all one word. And I tweet. I am queen of Twitterers.
Okay. My guest, Kate Bornstein. I'm Diana Montfort. I love you a lot. I will see you next time. Love you. Bye. And the show was filmed. Something happened with the credits before we went on, and we cannot print the credits in this show. So the show was filmed in 2010. And I'm going to hit the bye-bye button. And here we go. Love you a lot. Maybe you should, yeah.
Okay.
Bye.